So, we're finally getting the first of our overwintering broad beans coming through. Excellent. Welcome to the allotment, everyone. It's Saturday the 5th of November today. It's a little past 8 in the morning, and as you can probably tell by the way I'm dressed, it's fairly chilly. We've had quite a few frosts over the last week, and I know I haven't done an update in a while, but I thought it would be good just to walk you around the plot, show you what's going on or not, and talk about some of my plans for the winter, at least until next growing season. So thank you for watching. Hope you find this video useful. So according to my thermometer, this is a max min thermometer, minimum on the left, maximum on the right. I think I'm a little bit too close. Let's just see if we can get it to focus. That looks like -3 and +15, and I'd say that's probably pretty accurate for the temperatures we've been getting most days this week, days and nights this week. We've had a combination of cold nights and fairly relatively warm days. You can probably see from the sun on the leaves up there that the sun's already up, and it's quite warm. Although I'm dressed for cold, I don't suspect I'll have my jacket on for too long once the sun gets over the tops of the trees. As you can see, we're getting the kind of starts of the autumn colours down here. Most of the trees around the allotment here are either oak or ash, and certainly the ash, that's one there, they're well on their way in their sort of yellows and oranges and browns. But the oaks, if I just pan round, if you look down the end of the plot there, it's mostly oaks down there. They're not anywhere near as far along. I think this oak tree here, it's interesting, it's kind of half and half at the moment. The right hand half, oh, look at all those magpies. I don't know that the camera's picking those up, but it's must be about 15-20 magpies flying over. There goes another few more. I wonder if there's something up in that tree they're not happy about, you know, because they seem to be kind of mobbing that tree. Let's go down and have a look. I don't quite know what's going on, but there might be an owl or a raptor or something up in the top of that tree. 3 or 4 crows up there, and a couple of magpies, and I can't see whether there's anything up there. Let me just walk round this way a bit. See if we. No, I can't see anything. If I spot anything, I'll zoom the camera in. But no. Whatever it was is either gone or was never there in the first place, and it was just the magpies and the crows having a bit of a set to over territory. Anyway, let's wander back up. Sorry folks, that's a divergence from what I was talking about now, and I've forgotten what I was talking about. I think I was talking about the leaves on the trees, wasn't I? But basically, autumn's well underway. I think the trees have mostly been at their best. I think, as I say, the oaks are still to come, but the maples and sycamores and cherries and things are in really good form at the moment. So anyway, let's talk a bit about what's going on. Raw beans, these have been in, I think 4 weeks off. This is the 5th weekend since they were planted, but down here and this little square here on the end of on the end of the brassica cage. They're just coming through. See if I can spot one. There's one down there. So they're just coming through. I'm surprised how long it's taken them to germinate, and they haven't all germinated yet, so I suspect there'll be a few more. I was here on Thursday, I think it was, Wednesday or Thursday, and the first ones were just coming through, and there's certainly a few more come through since then, so that's a good sign. I do need to do some weeding particularly on this bit though. There's a lot of weeds have come up faster than the broad beans, so I might wait for them to get a little bit bigger and then just go along and hand weed between the rows, so that I don't have to try and do that in the spring. But I'm pleased they've germinated, because I was beginning to think they weren't going to. Another job I want to do for the winter months, and I think I've talked about it before, is move the compost bins from here to here, kind of this patch where the leeks are. And basically I think this particular bit doesn't get much sun, although I've managed to grow leeks and purple sprouting broccoli under there, which is doing really well, and there's some other Brussels sprout plants that somebody gave me. But that bit obviously does, and that's because it's not shaded so much by the shed which is behind me. So my plan, because the compost bins are starting to reach the end of their life, they're sort of falling apart, is to replace them. I've managed to scrounge 3 pallets to make one bin out of, and if I can't find 3 more before I do it, then I'll probably use the best 3 out of here, or something else, come up with some other ground. But I mean, this one is compost that I'll use this coming season. It's been curing, shall we say, over the summer, and this is the current pile, so I tend to have 2 and use one and work the other. So that's the plan, and I can do that any time really. It's not quite so dependent on the weather. I don't need the ground to be soft. I've been busy trying to weed the fruit cage, or fruit bed rather, as well. As you can see, there's a few that I've missed. My biggest problem on this plot has always been this stuff, which is creeping buttercup, and it's got quite a long root, but it also spreads by runners, so a bit like a strawberry does, so it can be a real pain, and I've been working on trying to get this bit, because obviously this bed doesn't get touched much, other than pruning the bushes and things. The ground only really gets kind of a bit of compost or mulch. It doesn't, get dug over like the other areas do, so it's not continually being turned over, when I can kind of keep a bit more on top of the creeping buttercup. I think in terms of my digging though, I'm pretty much on top of it. Did this patch to kind of there last weekend, which was the what was there, rocket, lettuce and other things, and then I've still got petrol chard, parsnips and rainbow chard, and they'll take me through, I think, through the winter as a veg, and then brassicas, particularly the Cavolo Nero, which is in there. I hope you can see that, and then probably we might get something off of here. So I've had quite a big problem, as you may be able to see, with, I think it's caterpillars, but I've never been able to find one, so I presume that there's either only 1 or 2, and they're doing quite a bit of damage, but not as much as they would if there were loads, and hopefully now the cold weather's setting in, they'll go off and become chrysalis or whatever they do, but they haven't touched everything, so they've mainly focused, I think, on the cabbages. They seem to have left the broccoli, which is the plants on the end here, alone. So we'll see. We might get some greens off of that. One of the jobs I want to try and do today is just lift the cage off, or the netting off rather, and just have a look at the plants in there, because you'll probably recall there are a couple that were a bit stunted and they've not done anything, so I'll probably take them out. But there are others that are doing quite well, and I think these collies are doing quite well, so I just want to have a kind of general proper look without the netting being in place, because it's a bit hard to see with the netting being there. So that's job for today. And then still kind of things to do up here. Now we've had a frost, as you can probably see, it's kind of done for the last of the courgettes, so I'll probably take them out possibly today, and then dig over the remaining bits of this bed, and won't be long before we've harvested the rest of the Brussels sprouts. There's only a few left on the tops of both of these plants. We've been eating them the last couple of weeks, and they're nice, and they never grew very large. I can't remember who it was. Thank you to whoever it was who suggested staking them. I think these were just a bit too far along to try and bother with, because I was frightened if I tried to stake them I might end up breaking the stems, but I will be doing that on the ones that are up there in the white tunnel, because they're not too big yet, so they could probably take being staked without too many problems. So that's about it, I think. Is there anything else I need to talk about? I don't think so. Onions and garlic are all through now, I think, or all that are going to come through. So that's good, and just in time for the cold weather for the garlic. If I remember rightly, it's two rows of garlic, 4 rows of onions, and I've got some more sets at home to go in, and the pilules have arrived for the spring, so they'll be going in soon too. But otherwise, I think it's just a case of winter maintenance, harvesting what's left. We've still got, as you can see, some leeks. So there's quite a lot still to harvest, and there's stuff here like the purple sprouting that will take us through into early spring, and then the new season starts, and we're back to full-on allotment mode. So I always find the winter months quite long, as I suspect most people do, but I'll be pleased when spring comes around again and we can get growing. I'll keep the updates coming, but they'll probably be a little less frequent, because obviously there's not a lot happening, and doing what are we up to, 11-12 minutes already, video of me wandering around talking about I've dug this bit and I've dug that bit probably isn't all that interesting. So if you've made it this far, thank you very much for watching, and I hope you're having a good weekend. I hope your garden's growing well, and I will speak to you again soon. Take care now. Bye bye.